This page I am looking at right now. Luffy and Sanji standing up to Big Mom and holding back one of her attacks. That's badass as fuck. Like, this is a hell of an epic moment. Like, holy shit. Luffy and Sanji are fighting back against Big Mom. Like, yo. This panel on the final page is, oh my god. This is hype. Like, this is legit hype right here. Big Mom just clashing and all that. Like, Reiju, she's just sitting in the corner of the panel like, what the fuck? Like, her face is like, the fuck? Like, she's just like, these two are literally holding back a Yonko's attack. Like, damn. I did not think we would have a clash in this arc. Judging by where it's been going, you know how they're trying to get out of here and escape, I didn't think we were probably going to get to see Luffy and Sanji and all of them face up against Big Mom. I mean, the only one I thought was going to be able to have any record of fighting Big Mom would be, you know, Brook. But that does not seem to be the case. So, yeah, this is, I'm excited for next chapter because this lets us know that we're going to get to see a little bit of a brawl between them. I'm looking forward to that. I don't think, you know, Luffy and Sanji and even the Germa could, you know, even defeat Big Mom. After everything, after all the build-up and everything we know about Yonkos, the backstory of Big Mom and all of that, I don't think Luffy and Sanji could bring her down. However, I do think they might be able to stall her somewhat and then get the fuck out. Because that's the only way they're going to be able to get out of here with their lives. They're not going to be able to defeat Big Mom and, you know, bring her down at all. Make her unconscious or kill her. That's just not a possibility. She's just way too strong. And if there's one thing we have learned from this arc of One Piece is that Yonkos are way above the Straw Hats at this moment. They're still not at that level of where a Yonko is. It takes a very big army and effort to bring down a Yonko, and even after all of this planning and build-up that, you know, Capone has done, it still was not enough. So it just goes to show you a Yonko will be a Yonko. A Yonko is ridiculous. Anyways, though, let's talk about, like, the outcome here, okay, before I get into all the stuff earlier on in the chapter. So, with Luffy and Sanji jumping in this, you know, final panel of the chapter, which is badass, we could assume that most likely the only way Sanji and Luffy is getting out of this fight, with their lives, obviously, is probably through the Germa. For instance, you know, Sanji's old family. He kind of, you know, denounced his family, says, like, you're not my father. You know, the original Vinsmoke Sanji, you know, he died that day a long time ago. You know, you're not my father. We may be related by blood, but I don't think of you as my father. And my main father is Zeph. But even after all of that, though, even after saying that and, you know, putting down and saying, like, you're not my father, Vinsmoke Judge, he still goes out there to fight with, you know, his family, because he wants to be able to stall some time and help out. And I feel like since Capone is, like, the only way they can really get out of there with Caesar, I feel like the only way for them to get out of here is through Germa 66. For instance, since we found out that they can fly, you know, most likely they're probably going to take Sanji and Luffy and get the fuck out of there. That's probably what's going to happen. Once, you know, they're done stalling, I could see Reiju grabbing Sanji or grabbing Luffy and getting out. And then we get some more information and some characterization for the Vinsmokes and see how Sanji interacts with them after everything is calmed down. I could definitely see something like that happening. Now, anyways, though, that's their escape plan. That's what I'm assuming. That's how Luffy and Sanji's going to get out of this, because with Capone, with Caesar, they just don't have the option to get over there when he's trying to get out. So I could see the group being split up for a bit. For instance, Sanji and Luffy will be with, you know, the Vinsmokes, while the others are off doing their own thing. But anyways, though, let's talk about the main thing of this chapter. Besides the plan with Capone and all that, let's talk about Sanji talking with his father. So as I already briefly stated in this video, Sanji, he told Judge, you may be related to me by blood, but no longer am I your son, no longer am you're my father or whatever. You are someone that I don't have any connection with anymore. The reason why Sanji said this was kind of like setting it straight. I no longer want to be connected with you. I no longer want to be related to you. And once this is all said and done, I don't want to ever see you again. I mean, the son you knew is dead, died so many years ago, and you even told me, basically, I should go off and die. That's basically what his father might as well have said. And so, because of that, Sanji has changed tremendously. He has went through so much growth as a person, has been through so much to get where he's at now. And after everything that he's been going through throughout this arc, you know, feeling depressed, where he's in a state of hopelessness, where he can't do anything, he has finally found his answer. And after everything, finding out about Sanji's past and all that, he's finally arrived to the point to where he has accepted everything. He has now said it like it is and finally made peace with what is going on with his used-to-be family, the Vinsmokes. When he walks up to his father and says something like that, it's basically Sanji saying he's moving on. He's done. He's done with his troubled past. He is done with what his family has done to him or how they treated him. He is moving on. I could see Sanji still having a connection maybe with his brothers or Reiju, but when it comes to his father, he's probably not going to have any more relationship with him until maybe far down the road in the future, maybe when Judge realizes he fucked up and he might want to, you know, rectify things and make it better with his son. I could definitely see that happening. However, for this time, though, Sanji's basically making peace, and he's like, I'm done. I'm just done with your bullshit. I'm done with the Vinsmokes. I'm no longer a Vinsmoke. I died that day. Let me move on and be my own man. I don't ever want to see you ever again. I don't want to ever hear from you or anything. It's because we're done. We have no connection, and I don't even consider you my father. So with Sanji doing that, telling his father off, or used to be father off, that entire plot point for his character is finally concluded, which I really appreciate. And the way Oda has handled Sanji's character in this arc has been very beautiful. It's added a lot of details to Sanji that we didn't know before, and allowed us to appreciate his character and to see how far he has come from what he was at a younger age to what he is now. It's just something I can really appreciate, and I think many of us can agree on the same thing, that Sanji has developed quite a bit, and just to see him making that decision in this chapter was definitely one of the biggest highlights of his character. So, that being said, though, let's talk about Capone for a second. So Capone, this man has surprised me. Just like Sanji, how this man has gotten a lot of development, this arc has also developed Capone as a character. He was a character that always had this style to him to where I thought he was interesting. Personally, I thought he was interesting because of his design and all that. I like mob bosses and stuff, and his design always was fascinating. I know many probably didn't care about him, and he didn't have a lot to really go on, or we didn't have a lot to go on about his character when he was first introduced. We just saw he looked like a mob boss type character, and after this arc, he has grown to be one of my personal favorites of all the rookies that, you know, was with Luffy. He is definitely one of those characters I really, really enjoy having panel time. When this man's on screen and talking, he's badass. I like how he plans things out. I like how he interacts with the characters. He's really cool. It's similar to how Law developed. Law was always a cool character, along with Kid, but Capone, he is definitely one of those characters that's very unique, and he wasn't just thrown in there to be useless, which just goes to show you how good of a writer Oda is. Oda always proves he's a really good writer when he puts all these characters in a different arc, and he shows how unique they can be, and that's clearly what's being shown here. For instance, Capone being very unique, and also being very surprising and different from what we expected from his character when he was first introduced. For instance, him saying what he said in this chapter was just like, bro, like, it shows what type of person he is, or maybe how he has changed thanks to having a family. He actually cares about his subordinates. He actually cares about his family. I mean, we knew he cared about his child and all that. We saw how he interacted with his child, but him to just straight up admit to everyone, in front of everyone, like, okay, honestly, I didn't really give a shit about the Straw Hats, you guys. I didn't care about Caesar, the German. I didn't give a shit about you guys at all. Really, I didn't. But I do care about my crew, my subordinates, and I do care about my family. That was a really wonderful moment for his character, because it lets us know what type of person he is. He may be a savage sometimes, he may do some despicable things where he might stab one of his own crew members, but overall, he's not someone that hates his crew. He's not someone that disrespects them. He respects his crew, he loves his crew, he will die for his crew, and he will fight for them. That is something I truly respect and admire. When I see him doing something like that, him saying, you know, he has to protect his, you know, family, has to protect his subordinates, that was a really good moment for his character. Probably one of the best moments for Capone's character when he admitted something like that in this chapter. It really raised my appreciation for him, and I respect him so much more now after what he said. So just Capone has surprised me and surpassed all expectations since this arc. He has definitely surpassed everything I thought he could possibly be. Anyways, though, let's talk about the actual situation with Big Mom and what's going on outside. So Big Mom obviously hammering the fuck out of Capone's Big Father body, just destroying him. And as we know, Big Mom is savagely strong. Like, you cannot just begin to imagine how strong she must have gotten over these years since her childhood. And Capone, when he's getting pummeled and all that, that's hurting his main body, he's like, holy crap. He's like, it feels like every punch she's doing to my, body is like, I don't have any armor to begin with. And he's like, I can't even believe I can't be phased by cannons, but something like this just hurts so bad. It just puts in perspective of how powerful Big Mom's punches are. For instance, cannonballs. Big cannonballs coming in and slamming into his fortress doesn't even phase him or hurt him at all, while Big Mom just sitting there punching the hell out of him with her raw fist is just destroying him like he had no armor on. It's like he's just getting pummeled with no body armor or anything. She's just breaking everything that's in him. So it just shows how strong she is, but also how strong his armor is and how ridiculous a Yonko can be, and you shouldn't really underestimate them. So that... damn. So with all that going on the outside, though, obviously Luffy just can't sit and watch. He doesn't want to sit and watch Capone getting the shit knocked out of him, because Luffy will be Luffy. He doesn't want to see something like that. And so he wants to rush on out and stop Big Mom, because he doesn't want to see Capone just die right then and there. And Nami actually is the voice of reason and stops Luffy, which, like... oh my god, like, okay, so Nami's always been a character that's been very intelligent. She's someone that has been, the voice of reason, and Jinbei has also proved he can be that as well throughout the series. Just Nami... just, damn, what she said to Luffy made so much sense. And then, Brook backing her up, I do appreciate that interaction with Luffy and how they're, Oda's keeping true to what this arc was about in the first place. Now, of course, Luffy and Sanji going out and facing Big Mom, it was very badass, but it still fits in character with these two characters, Sanji and Luffy, because that's just what they would do. But still, Nami saying stuff like this, and Oda reminding us, because Oda didn't need to do that. Oda did not need to go out of his way to remind us that, because he could have easily have just not had Nami say that, and then just like, why would you do that, and then have, Luffy rush out? But, Nami reminded us, but that was also Oda reminding us he remembers what this arc was about. He remembers that this arc was more of a stealth mission, not trying to bring down a Yonko. That's never what it was about in the first place. It was always about getting Sanji back, saving Sanji's family, and that was pretty much it. I mean, taking down Big Mom was kind of a bonus because of what Capone was planning, but that was really never the big in-game goal, and also the Poneglyph as well. So, when you look at all of these things, the in-game was never to bring down Big Mom, but it kind of turned into that thanks to Capone, but that has failed, obviously, so they need to get the fuck out. So, yeah, I like how Oda reminded us through Nami in this chapter of what it was about, when Nami's like, look, we didn't bring a lot of people. We have few people here, Zoro's waiting on us, we gotta, get back to him, because he's the person that we need if we want to even face a Yonko, which is very true. I mean, Luffy has went through a lot of change, he's gotten a lot stronger, so has Sanji and all of our cast members of the Straw Hats, but the thing is, to bring down a Yonko is gonna take more than what they have. They're gonna need everyone there, every Straw Hat member there to fight Big Mom, to bring her down, or any Yonko at that, and that may still not be enough. Just Yonkos are overpowered and strong, and so, with that being said, there's just no way they're prepared for this, and Nami saying something like that, look, we only came here for these certain things, we've accomplished that, we got our goal, let's just go. We don't need to stay here anymore. We don't need any more, let's not get greedy. But because of that just made me appreciate this arc so much more. Now, like I said, with Luffy and Sanji jumping in, it fits with their character, but it also doesn't go against what they're actually still doing. They're still trying to escape. They're just out there, though, right now, because they don't want the Germa to die, Sanji's actual blood family. So I'm fine with that. I am fine with what Oda's doing with that part, and also it's very badass with, this panel, just like, as I keep saying, this panel with Big Mom, Sanji, and Luffy just standing up to her. So, oh my god, like, that's some good shit. But, yeah, Nami, just great stuff in this chapter, especially with Brook as well, saying what he needed to say. So, anyways, the last thing I need to talk about, I guess I need to talk about... is there anything else I need to talk about? I think I've covered everything. Oh yeah, I guess one thing I could talk about is what Big Mom is hitting Luffy and Sanji with, or what they're blocking, actually, because many might have missed this. So if you look closely in, the page before the final page, with the badass panel, you see where Big Mom, she's using Prometheus? Yeah, Prometheus is the sun, if I'm correct. I know Zeus is lightning. If we're going in terms of mythology, Prometheus would be the sun, obviously, and Zeus would be the lightning, or the cloud, so I feel like that's the proper name. So anyways, Big Mom uses fire, which is Prometheus, to attack, and you see Caesar like, holy shit, holding, Capone and all that. They're trying to get out. All of a sudden, you have it to where, Reiju takes a hit, and then, one of the brothers is, like, scared, like, holy shit, Reiju, and then, oh my god, what one of the brothers say to Reiju is just completely fucked. Like, we have no time for, weaklings and all that. It's their fault if they die or get injured. Like, holy shit, your sister just got hit by a Yonko. Like, chill the fuck out. Like, chill the fuck out. She just took a blow from a Yonko. Like, oh my god, like, just chill. Anyways, though, getting back on topic. Okay, so as we know, Big Mom, she used Prometheus to attack, and then all of a sudden, if you look to the right panel, you see this little cloud, which is most likely Zeus shooting in lightning, which you can see that lightning effect going on right there in the panel, on the, the left panel, the big badass panel. So I'm assuming that is Zeus. They're actually blocking Zeus, not Prometheus. Now, there could be a mix of both, because there is a fire effect going on there, but it most likely is Sanji causing that. So, most likely, what's going in there is probably just Zeus, the lightning attack, hitting, and then they're just blocking it. So, many might say that Sanji is hitting a woman as well, when in reality, Sanji's actually hitting, the actual part of Big Mom, which is Zeus. So yeah, wanted to point that out for anyone that was confused. So that's about it when it comes to this chapter review of One Piece. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.